heart. He is one of 9 of the peer recovery coaches at Berkeley Day Report Center. More importantly, he is our Catalyst peer coach. So he works with kids ages 12 to 18. He has an incredible story, but I'm telling you, our Catalyst juvenile participants just love him and flock to him. I know I am personally grateful to have him on my team.
Hi, everybody. A little nervous, but I got this.
Yes, you do!
So, I had a good life growing up. I grew up Catholic, and it was good. My parents got divorced when I was 3, so that was a little tough. And I ended up staying with my mom. And she had a lot of rules. So when I got a little older, I wanted to hang out with people, and I wanted girlfriends, and so my mom kind of got in the way of that. She liked to take my dad got me a cell phone, and my mom wasn't cool with that. So he got me one, she found out, and it was a whole thing. She took it away, and I got kind of mad about that, and I just packed my stuff when she went to work and left. I went to live with my dad, and I knew my dad would let me drink, he would let me smoke, so that's what happened. I went with him, started drinking, started smoking, stopped going to school, and I met some good people, and we had a lot of fun together. And I started getting girlfriends, and started feeling the feelings of hurt and pain, and I didn't know how to deal with it. So I started going to my dad for help, and he'd give me some Xannies and say this, but it'll help you out. So I took it, and it helped out. So that's how I learned how to deal with feelings. And then it started happening more often. So I went back to him, and he'd give me some perks, and he'd like break it up for me and show me how to do it. And so that's how I learned how to do that. And he got a prescription, so I always had like an endless supply. He always had them, and my friends would come over and get some. So I started selling them, and that's how I made money when I was like 16. I had a job too, but the job wasn't really paying what I wanted. And so I kept doing that, and then he stopped getting the prescription, and I started getting sick. I didn't like that feeling, so I did whatever I could to feel better. And so me and my dad started doing heroin together. He didn't shoot it, but I was hanging around people that did. So I didn't do it for a long time. And then I was just, who you're around, you end up doing what they're doing eventually. So I ended up doing it. And then I started getting really sick. At first I think it was my nerves, and then it started to be like a physical thing. And I couldn't get out of bed. I didn't want to get out of bed until I had that. And I wake up every morning worried about where I'm going to get the money. So I started stealing from everybody. I stole from my grandparents, and they just kind of just let it happen. So I just kept doing it. I was like, if they ain't gonna say nothing, why can't I keep doing it? And it got to a point where people, I go to like Christmas parties, and people were like, Joe's here, hide your purses. So that was kind of embarrassing, but I was high half the time, so I didn't care. And one day, I went and got drugs for me and my dad, and we got into like an argument over who had more. And then, so we didn't talk for like hours. I went in a different room, he went in another room, and I didn't hear from him for a while. So I went in the other room to check on him. He was like kind of slumped over the bed, so I tried to wake him up, and he wouldn't wake up. And then called an ambulance, they came, and they couldn't revive him either. So I beat myself up a long time for that, because I like put it on myself that I killed him. Love you too. So that was tough. I went downhill pretty bad after that. I got locked up before all that happened. I used to get like possession charges and get on probation and violate, go to jail, get out, do good for a little bit, violate again, go back to jail. Theirs were like 6-month periods, so I'd go to jail for 6 months, get out, and do the same thing, 'cause that's all I knew. And then once my dad died, I just lost it. I just started hanging around really like people I definitely shouldn't have been around. And they had a good idea. We were up smoking crack all night and doing whatever we could do. He had a bright idea at like 6 o'clock in the morning, let's go rob this gas station. So we went, and I got kind of mad at him because he put it in my head, and I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And I was like, it might work. So I talked myself into it. And we went and did it. He put on like a unicorn costume to try and hide who he was. So he went in the store. It wasn't even supposed to be open. He just said his girl used to work there and that he knew a way to break in, but it ended up being open, so he robbed it. And we ended up in a high-speed car chase, and I crashed the car running. It hit like a big hill, and I didn't see the drop. So when we came down, we hit 3 mailboxes, a BG&E pole, and then a boulder stopped us. So pretty bad car crash. He broke his neck and his back, and I got out and ran. So somebody was watching over me. But as I got 3 years for that, and I did about 9 months because as soon as I went in the court, they dropped all like the armed robbery charges, and they gave me just a robbery charge. So I got stuck with a felony, but I was okay. I didn't. I found God when I believed all my life, but I never really took the time to know Him and like try. But that's what got me through, praying, and just reading the Bible. And so that's what I do now. I just always pray and I trust. So that's what gets me through. And after that, I went to a program for a year, and the program was in Frederick, so it was a little ways away from Baltimore. I told my mom when she came to see me, I said I can't go back home because I'm gonna do the same thing. So she was like, all right, I'll find somewhere for you. So she found a place for me, and I was like, hey, I'll go for a year. So I went and I did that, and it ended up being a little longer than a year because of COVID. So I was there for about 15 months, and then I started working again. I worked for a fence company, and it was good. I worked a lot of overtime, it kept me busy. I was tired after work, so I'd go home and go to sleep. I didn't have time to get in trouble anymore. And then I ended up meeting Tim and Crystal, and told them my story. And they said, you want a job? And I said, yeah. So now that's where I'm at today, and I never seen myself where I'm at today. I got a wife, I got a daughter, and I'm pretty happy.